No, it's interesting. I mean, this hits home with me very, very much because I come from my side. I come from a generation of the older miners in my family, and we've had some fatalities, injuries, and all those things that we hear about. The downsides of the high risk industry, and it's evolved so much since then. And as a teenager, I was told don't go mining. And what I now know about that message was that my father wasn't telling me don't go mining. He was telling me don't do it the way that I did it, right?
Yeah,
And then
right.
it was through perseverance and through the drive that I had that eventually I found myself back in the mining ecosystem, and I realized it is an ecosystem. Like
It,
you need everyone to participate in being a metal and mineral producer. To your point, so uh, it'll be interesting over the next little while how that messaging starts to transform. And is that something you guys are tackling as far as let's all group together to deliver that message, or with your capital projects and with all of your planning efforts? Like that's a big component, right?
yeah, certainly. I think that that component comes in our participation. Mine, Vikram's. We have a number of employees embedded in and working with various associations, including CIM and PDAC and Women in Mining. And we as DRA have to participate in that to get the message out more broadly that this is an interesting it's an interesting industry. It's a high-tech industry. That's something that's lost. I mean, we use and develop some of the most sophisticated geophysics, airborne to ground exploration tools out there. Within mineral processing, we use X-ray fluorescence, X-ray diffraction. We use technologies in modeling technologies for modeling metal resources for extracting the metal. We use some of those complex process control systems and algorithms and neural networks. These are all very sophisticated technologies, and somehow we have a generation that thinks coding for a video game is more exciting than. But if somebody were to walk into our design offices in downtown Toronto and walk in and see all those computers with 3D rotating, AR, VR, it's incredible. That is not understood and so we are, as CIM, we're working with Mahir on the student ambassador program. But yeah, it's got to be an all-encompassing effort. It's not going to be just DRA or Vikram or I that are going to
Yeah,
change that.
yeah, yeah.
So
Come build games to for sustainability rather than
yes,
entertainment,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I think that's actually a really good point. If you think about some of the recent initiatives, Gus, mining games is a very, very good example. So mining games, the whole idea behind that is to bring in students in university level, granted, but it's to really bring in disciplines that wouldn't generally be considered a part of mining. So there are big data mining data analysts that are in that. There's coders that it's actually looking at how do we bring in artificial intelligence to be able to pour through gigabytes worth of data that's been sitting there from 1954s and the 1955s. How do we actually apply artificial intelligence platform for doing remote sensing to be able to do exploration differently? All of those things are happening, but it's at what I would call as the nuclei stage, and that nucleus need to really branch out and get that message across to future generations. So we have some work and lots of work to do as an industry, not just as individuals.
Yeah, and speaking of that work, so one of the things that I read with the conversations that we had with you guys before was as far as the incubator program and the things that you're putting in place to foster and nurture and get these innovations and technologies to come together. Can you explain a little bit more about what's going on with DRA on that aspect?
For sure. I'm happy to start and then
yeah. Go ahead.
turn it over to you. So, let's start off with some practical examples as opposed to speaking it from theoretically, right? I mean, you walk around and you ask people as to what's being done differently in the industry, specifically on processing. Because if you take a step back and look at where is the most amount of energy is being spent, right? Energy goes into comminution. That's the most amount of energy that you spend in a processing facility, in relative proportion to the amount of energy it takes to drill, blast, and generate the ore. That's an important sink of energy. The second part is to essentially beneficiate those minerals, to essentially get to a concentrate that you can do something to produce your final metals. And there's a lot of research work that's presently ongoing. But outside of those papers and theoretical concepts, we've taken a step back and we've said we've now put in a couple of things. So we use a system called HSC Sim. What that allows us to do is to really look at those flowsheet components and say, is this flowsheet a better option compared to flowsheet B? And if so, what specific advantages does it offer? Yeah, does it actually offer better energy consumption, better water consumption? But then the second stage is to really look at some new technologies that people are talking about, but we've now studied, for instance, coarse particle recoveries, which is a specific technology that we've now gone ahead and put into a large project in South America that's actually going into commissioning. What that does is that it gives you incremental copper recovery in this particular case, but at a significant reduction to specific energy requirements on the grinding side, but also the amount of water that you would otherwise need in order to process that. The second thing is, on a project elsewhere, we're looking at microwave-assisted comminution, where you essentially send rocks through microwave systems to create microfractures in them before it reports into a grinding circuit. And that has a significant amount of energy that would otherwise be required to grind it down to sizes that you can actually beneficiate. Why am I citing this? Because these are actual examples that's happening as we speak in industrial scale applications in projects that are being built. This is not theory. This is practical application.
It's practical. It
Practical.
probably has a huge impact on waste as well, right? Like you're
100%.
reducing the waste impact on your recovery.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I guess the underlying theme here is that as DRA, we're not the inventors of those core technologies, of the innovative technologies that are being developed. But as you know, the mining industry is heavily criticized as being an industry that's old and doesn't want to innovate. And I think that's a little too critical of the industry, because it does and always has wanted to innovate, but innovation and trying new technologies is very risky. This is a highly capital intensive business, and there's no room. You're going to spend $300 million on a process plant. You can't get it wrong. You can't go, well, let's try this new ABC technology, and you get it wrong, you lose $300 million. But what we do in these examples Vikram has given you is we position ourselves as the folks who will help you de-risk that innovation. So we will bring our deep smarts, we'll bring analytical systems, simulation systems to the table in order to do everything we can and bring an engineering eye, because a lot of innovation starts in the lab, starts at pilot scale. Is it scalable? And you can only do that through proper engineering. So so we are the folks you come to help you de-risk that innovation, so you can take that bit of a gamble on innovation and bring it into your process plant or your underground mining operations, whatever it is. But that's where we are in innovation. We're not inventing the new processes and widgets, but we're trying to help our customers apply them in a managed fashion.